Picture this. A tiny pot on your balcony. No yard, no acres, barely enough room to stretch your arms out in a full circle. And somehow that little pot is growing sweet, ripe, juicy fruit you can pick with your own 2 hands in just a few months. Sounds like something only rich people with sprawling backyards get to enjoy, right? Wrong. Dead wrong, actually. Some of the most productive fruit trees on this entire planet were never built for big farms or massive orchards. They were built for small spaces, tight corners, narrow balconies, cramped patios, even a sunny window ledge in a city apartment. And today I'm handing you 10 of them. 10 trees that will give you baskets of real, fresh fruit without ever asking you for a garden the size of a football field. Stay with me all the way to the end because tree number 7 on this list is the one almost everyone plants completely wrong, and that one mistake alone is costing them half their entire harvest every single year. Hey, welcome back to Gentle Greens, the place where growing your own food never has to drain your wallet or demand a huge backyard. If this is your very first time here, hi! I'm genuinely glad you found us. On this channel we keep things simple, honest, and budget-friendly, because good gardening should never come with a luxury price tag attached to it. And to everyone who keeps showing up week after week, watching, commenting, sharing these videos with friends, thank you truly. You're the entire reason this small channel keeps growing bigger. Today we're diving into dwarf fruit trees, specifically the container garden kind, the compact little powerhouses that manage to pack a full-sized harvest into a pot small enough to sit comfortably right by your front door. Grab something to write with, a notebook, your phone, whatever works, because you're going to want notes for this one. Before we dig into the list, if you're new around here, go ahead and tap that subscribe button. It costs you absolutely nothing, and it genuinely means everything to a small growing channel like this one. Alright, let's get into it. Tree 1. The fig that thinks it's a houseplant. Most people picture fig trees as tall, sprawling giants with branches reaching in every direction. But dwarf fig varieties behave nothing like their bigger, wilder cousins. Give one a decent pot, a sunny spot, and a bit of patience, and it will quietly reward you with 2 full harvests in a single year. Here's the secret nobody really tells you though. Figs actually prefer being a little cramped. A slightly restricted root system pushes the entire tree to focus its energy toward producing fruit, instead of endlessly growing taller and bushier. So don't rush to upgrade the pot the second it starts looking a bit snug. That snugness is quietly doing you a favor, forcing the plant to work smarter, not bigger. Tree 2. The citrus that smells before it fruits. Dwarf citrus trees, especially calamandan and dwarf lemon varieties, do something most fruit trees simply don't. They perfume your entire room before they even produce a single fruit. That fragrance isn't just a lovely little bonus, it's actually a signal. It means pollination is actively happening, and if you're growing this indoors, that's your cue to gently shake the branches or use a small soft brush to help the process along. Since there are no bees buzzing around to knock on your window, skip that small step, and you'll end up with a gorgeous smelling tree that gives you disappointingly little fruit in return. Tree 3. The peach that hates being ignored. Dwarf peach trees are dramatic, plain and simple. They will tell you exactly what they need loudly, and if you ignore them, they sulk in ways that are hard to miss. The biggest mistake most people make is watering on a fixed schedule, instead of actually checking the soil first. A dwarf peach living in a container dries out far quicker than one planted in open ground, sometimes within a single hot afternoon. So stick a finger about 2 inches into the soil before every single watering. Still moist? Wait a little longer. This one small habit alone can genuinely double your fruit set by the end of the season. Quick pause here. If you're already picturing which of these could realistically fit your balcony or patio, drop a comment and tell me which tree you're most excited about right now. And if this video is helping you out even a little, a like genuinely helps it reach more container gardeners who need exactly this information. Alright, back to the list. Tree 4. The cherry that needs a partner. Here's something that catches a lot of new growers completely off guard. Some dwarf cherry varieties are self-fertile, meaning they don't need another tree planted nearby to produce fruit. But others absolutely, positively need a partner tree close by, or they simply won't fruit at all. Buying the wrong single variety without checking this is one of the most common reasons people end up with a cherry tree that blooms beautifully every single spring, and yet gives them nothing to actually eat come summer. Always check the pollination requirement before you buy, never after. Tree 5. The apple that fits in a corner. Dwarf apple trees grown on the right rootstock can be kept under 5 feet tall and still produce a genuinely respectable basket of apples each and every season. What most people completely miss here is pruning. Left alone, even a dwarf apple wants to sprawl outward and get bushy and unruly, spreading its energy far too thin across too many branches. A light trim in late winter, simply removing crossing branches, keeps the tree focused and results in noticeably larger, sweeter fruit. Tree 6. The plum that ripens in secret. Plums have a sneaky little habit. They can look absolutely perfectly ripe on the outside while still being tart and underdeveloped on the inside. The real test isn't color at all. It's a gentle squeeze near the stem. If it gives just slightly under light pressure, it's ready to pick. Pull it too early out of impatience, and you lose all the sweetness the tree spent months quietly building up. Tree 7. The apricot most people plant wrong. This is the one I promised you all the way back at the start. Dwarf apricot trees usually get placed in a shaded, sheltered corner because people assume young, delicate trees need protection from harsh sunlight. But apricots are sun lovers from the very beginning. Right from their first season. Too little direct light in that critical first year weakens the tree's entire structure, and it never fully recovers its fruiting potential later on, no matter how much you try to fix it afterward. Give it the sunniest spot you own, even as a tiny young sapling, and you'll see a dramatic difference within just 2 seasons. Tree 8. The pear that plays the long game. Dwarf pear trees are patient, almost stubbornly so. They can take a season or 2 longer than everything else on this list to really hit their stride and start producing well. But once they finally do, the payoff is absolutely worth every bit of that wait. A lot of gardeners end up pulling out a slow-starting pear tree, convinced something is wrong with it, when really it just needed 1 more full year to mature its root system properly. Tree 9. The pomegranate that loves being forgotten, 1140 to 1240. Unlike almost everything else on this entire list, dwarf pomegranate trees actually thrive on a little bit of neglect. Overwatering is genuinely its biggest enemy. Let the soil dry out noticeably between waterings, and you'll get healthier blooms and a much better fruit set than if you babbied it constantly with daily watering out of good intentions. Tree 10. The olive that's secretly a fruit tree. Most people completely forget that olives count as fruit at all, but dwarf olive trees can absolutely be grown successfully in containers, rewarding you with both real fruit and one of the most elegant, sculptural-looking plants you could ever own. The one catch here is cold tolerance. Bring it indoors before the very first frost hits, and it will keep producing reliably for years without ever missing a single season. And that's 10 dwarf fruit trees that prove beyond any doubt, you don't need acres of land to grow real delicious food with your own 2 hands. Just a pot, a bit of sunlight, and the right small habits for each individual tree. If you learned something new today, subscribe for more budget-friendly ways to grow food in small spaces, and let me know down in the comments which of these 10 you're planting first. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today, and I'll see you in the very next one.